So that's what's coming with Facebook's IPO and with roughly 1 billion people connected to Facebook in a year, within a year, the end of the year. As of today, 21 billion minutes spent per day on Facebook. If you're not broadcasting on Facebook, you're in deep trouble. Facebook is the platform, one of the platforms. So the Facebook monster, as Zuck says himself, he didn't say Facebook is the greatest way to waste time or to meet girls or whatever, right? What it used to be, or to meet kids, right? He said we have the most powerful distribution mechanism that has been made in a generation. And I think he's wrong because it's the most powerful attention platform, which amounts to the same thing, right? Because today is no longer about distribution, it's about attention. The real battle today is not about getting people not to download or to pay for it or all these things, but to pay attention to what the hell is it that you're doing. Because when you have attention, you can always convert. I mean, look at Netflix. Right? You guys know Netflix, US service, right? $10 a month for movies, 22 million subscribers. It's not about distribution, it's about attention. It's about the like button. Right? That's a mental form of distribution. So now Kevin Kelly says we're becoming people of the screen, and I tell you one thing, people of the screen are not the same people than people of the book. Okay? I love books, I write books, so I'm happy for you to buy my books. But, you know, we're becoming people of the screen. There's screens everywhere. And people of the screen are not going to buy media in the same way that we used to buy it when there weren't any screens. I mean, forget it. Right? It's not going to happen. And there'll be 5.1 billion people like this, using screens to access content. What are we going to tell them? We're going to tell them they can't share. Right? They have to pay the same price for the e-book than the physical book. Right? Come on. Right? You know where this is going. Right? They're going to do it all for free. So people of the screen are different, as you can see here, even the most unlikely places. And then we have gamification. Right? I mean, some of us here on the panel are in this business. Right? Everything is about games. Have you noticed? Farmville, Cityville. Facebook is a game in a way. You could say it's a social game. Right? Foursquare is a game. I can become mayor. Right? Gamification. That's what we see everywhere around the world in media. One other thing that we see is that sharing is the default mindset of the digital generation. If we turn off sharing, we're finished. I mean, the whole driver of music is sharing. I mean, we used to get together and swap records or record John Peel on the BBC, right? And that wasn't entirely legal, right? But it's about sharing, right? Sharing, if we turn off sharing, prevent sharing, we're finished. Right? Look at the music business, 71% decline in a decade. Because sharing is no longer desired, but it somehow has been removed as interesting, right? So, look at the graph here. That's the music industry. And is the fault of this people aren't willing to buy music? That can't be true. Do people hate music? Right? Not true. Do we have bad artists? Not true. Right? In some cases, true. Okay. So people of the screen consume differently. They like to go from copy to access, from the ripped CDs to Spotify. We're going from a copy economy to an access economy. And this is pretty much a globally accepted fact, right? If you're going to say that you prefer to sell copies than to sell access, you're in deep trouble. Right? Because you're going off a cliff that's getting steeper by the minute. People will still buy copies. I still buy books. Right? But there's no growth in that part of it for the time being. Right? It's about providing access. We have to wrap up soon. And this is not just true in content. The biggest trend in car buying is not to buy a car, but to share it. Car sharing is the biggest trend in the car industry right now. Sharing your own car or other people's car, called collaborative consumption. So Kevin Kelly says when copies are free, you need to sell something that can't be copied. Tough mission. But what are we going to do about it? Make copies not free? Right? Then we can move to China. That's my view. But I think we need the new generatives. The alternative is to make money with that process, right? As Kevin Kelly calls it. For example, immediacy would be something like recording a concert from a band that I went to and being able to download it on top of Spotify for a premium. That would be an extra service that would be a new generative, and already exists. Right? So a couple examples on those generatives, and you should read what Kevin is saying about this. Immediacy, personalization, and so on. The Met Opera, you can watch live in HD in a movie theater in America. It's already working, right? People are already doing this. Right? That's extra. That's a premium service that we can sell. Al Jazeera has a social context that makes us come to Al Jazeera, not to CNN, right? Because they're using that on the screen. You can watch Major League Baseball on Facebook. That's an added value. You can use these fancy maps at CNN Money. You can connect Amazon to Facebook. You can look at The Matrix, what happened with this whole interactive storytelling approach. And you can make your own movie about Michael Jackson. So all these approaches are extra services, many of which can be charged for. And they don't become copyright. You can't copy an experience. You only copy a file. So how you compete with free? I mean, if I got €1 for each time people ask me this, I would be a very rich man, have my own private jet, like Alexander does. So that's the question. How do you compete with free? Well, clearly you make a better service. Netflix is better than free movies. It's $10, right? But it's better. It's better, quicker, cleaner, and the price is right. Ask yourself a simple question. Would we be discussing piracy for music if the song cost 10p? We wouldn't. Do we want it to 10p? No. But if we can sell it to absolutely every person in Europe, we're talking about 900 million people, right? 40 songs a month. That sounds good. Let's do that. Pricing, service, likable brand. Likable brand. Yeah. That's important. Timely contextual interface. Better tools. It's not that hard. I mean, lots of people are doing this. O'Reilly Publishing has a service called Safari Books. If you're into tech books, reading about programming and stuff, they sell you access to 5,400 books online for $49 a month. It's a flat rate for books. It's the biggest thing they've ever done, and it works out great. No DRM. Okay. So there's lots of examples here. As I was, look at the curve of Netflix growth, right? Netflix has grown so quick and so fast that now the studios are saying they don't want to license Netflix in other places or in a certain window because it's too successful competing with cable TV. That's called having your cake and eat it. Anyway, we're moving into a future with the topic of my first book, Music Like Water. It's reality now. Right? Give you just one example. TDC in Denmark, it's a mobile operator and an ISP. They have bundled free music into access to the web. So when you buy a DSL from them or the mobile phone, music is all included, no questions asked. Everything. And guess what? The biggest selling factor, I think they paid something like 15, 20 million euros to the rights holders in Denmark. Biggest selling factor is this. They have reduced the churn rate by 50%. Do you know what that means in terms of money? 50 million. So don't tell me that we can't get ISPs and operators to come to the table and say, let's make this together into a fruitful business. We just have to allow it. I mean, obviously, they have the motivation to do this, to bundle things. So we've got to get to the end here. So a kind of depressing slide here. When you ask people would they pay for content, about 80% said, I wouldn't. And the other 20% are lying. They wouldn't either. So the question is not to ask people, would you pay for content, or do you have 10 quid for music, right? The question is we have to do some better packaging, some bundling, right? I mean, this is clearly crucial, bundling and upselling. It's not new. The most successful content business is the gaming business, because that's what they do. Download the first 10 levels for free, you're completely stuck, you spend 50 hours, and it's just 20 quid to get the next, unlock your new weapons or something, right? So this is crucial. That's what we have to do. Not ask people, would you pay now or go away, like the paywall, right? That's like, my way or the highway, so I'll take the highway. Right? That's the idea of saying, okay, freemium, free, feels like free. That's sort of academic, because in the end, we're trying to get people into the bundle and into the upselling. If you have nothing to upsell to, then you're in deep trouble, right? Because it's just all free. Right? But that's basically what's happening now. So we're moving to this thing called the telemedia ecosystem. I talk about this a lot because many of my clients are telcos and operators. It's a new system where we're all going to essentially create new business models, the publishers, the advertisers, device makers, and telcos, and the social networks. Right? And we're basically creating this new system, this new logic together. Don't forget, again, I was saying earlier, that 75% of all content has been paid for either by taxes, which we don't like, but they exist, right? Or by advertising. And, of course, also by subscribers. Right? I mean, that's the other piece of the pie here. So we need to create a new logic of usage right, of permission. I think that's what we're going to see in the near future. 3 ways to get paid, and then I'll summarize, and then we're really onto the panel here. This is very important. Jeff Jarvis talks about this, and also Shelley Palmer. There's one way, if I blog, you read my blog, I am paying for you to read my stuff. So I'm paying for the pleasure of you reading my stuff. Right? That's called I pay. The other thing is you pay. Right? That's the New York Times. So now it's becoming a you pay sort of idea. Right? But basically, media has always been about this, which is they pay. Right? Somebody else pays for me to use your stuff because they want to reach me. Cable TV, best example. If we paid what it actually cost to put the TV cable in the ground, right, we couldn't afford it. Right? It's supported by advertising. So the future holds business models like this, and I can't tell you again, there is no recipe. Right? Don't ask me for recipes because there isn't any. Every business, every country, every target group, every platform is different. So I'm not going to tell you paywall yes or no because that answer doesn't exist. Okay? It's basically a mixer. I pay, you pay, they pay, and just turn on the blender when you're ready to make a model. Right? You figure out what it is. LinkedIn, going public tomorrow, or Thursday, buy stocks. Right? LinkedIn, I was number 2,000 when LinkedIn started 7 years ago. It's now 114 million, I think. And people ask me, why in the world are you doing this, connecting with strangers? What a stupid idea. Right? Today, LinkedIn makes 300 million a year with this model. It's free until you decide to get better weapons. Okay? So you can email more people. That's what it comes down to, $20 a month. Right? That's the same model. So I'm going to get to the end here, otherwise we'll be here tonight. The future of advertising, I'm going to skip on that because, again, we need to come to the end here. So let me just wrap this up. Recent cover of The Economist, or I think somewhere in theeconomist.com. Very interesting. People are bidding for your attention. I mean, this is the future of media. Right? This person there, somebody bought the mobile phone, really. Brands want to reach this person, and they're willing to spend $1 trillion on it. And content guys want to reach that person as well. So the question is, how much would you pay to reach me? That's how we generate money. And it's not you, it's just different, right? Different way of doing the same thing. Let me summarize. So, disruption. Either you disrupt or you are disrupted. There is no other alternative. Right? And I recommend to you right now in the media business, be a disruptor. Because if you are disrupted, look at the newspaper industry or the music industry, right? And you don't respond, you're always on the defensive forever. Right? So disrupt or be disrupted. From the copy to the access. Social networks are the next broadcast. It's not just Facebook, right? There's 10 big companies, QQ, Mixi, Orkut, Cyworld, many others. Qzone in China has 680 million. It's still the largest for the time being. So they are broadcasters. They are the next broadcasters. They're actually commissioning movie production as we speak. Netflix, Amazon, Facebook. Right? They're broadcasters. We're moving from the network, the network, central network, to the networked. This is really true, I think, across everything, including branding, companies, and so on. Everything in the cloud, streams, cloud, data. We're moving from broadcast to broadband, and of course, broadcast will still be part of broadband as well. Facebook is an attention platform. And this is the future of media, as far as I am concerned, is to figure out business models that are based on an ecosystem, not on an ego system. We've had ecosystems for a long time, and they worked. Congratulations. But they will not work in the future. Right? The future is about collaborative business models. The new generatives, look up at Kevin Kelly. Personal data is the oil of the internet. So if you're somewhat involved with data, that's a good thing. And I think this is really going to be it now. Here's my books. They're all free, except for my first. You can download from my website. Thanks very much.